Greetings, awful Green. On this video, I'm going to talk about why I feel like an autistic alien here on planet Earth. So don't go away for some deep and personal insights into why I feel like I'm living on the wrong planet. Why do people say, hey, can I just sneak past? Like you're standing somewhere, right? And someone comes up to you and goes, oh, sorry, mate, can I just sneak past? Can you just sneak past? I think you've missed the meaning of sneak. You can't sneak by announcing. You can't announce a sneak, right? You can't get approval for a sneak. A sneak is a sneak. A sneak is something that is undetected, okay? You're trying to pass someone without them knowing you've passed them, right? That's sneaking. But you can't say, can I sneak? You can't ask permission to sneak. So please stop saying, can I just sneak past? No, you can't just sneak past, champ, because you don't know the meaning of sneak. Go and look up the meaning of sneak, then come back to me and ask me what you want to do. Seriously, it's like, can I just get a wriggle on? Just get a wriggle on. This is a way of gathering speed by wriggling. Have you ever seen people wriggle? Oh, I can't believe it. Oh, the shop's about to close. I better get a wriggle on. The shop's about to close. You better run. Hey, I'm Orion Kelly, also known as That Autistic Guy, and welcome to my channel.
And now, here's your neurologically different host, Orion Kelly.
I'm so grateful that you've taken the time to watch my video. Thank you so much for checking me out. Now, as you know, my name's Orion, That Autistic Guy. I'm autistic. I also have generalized anxiety disorder and social anxiety disorder, and a few other little tidbits along the way. What I'm here to do is to be as open and honest as I can, which is pretty easy for a logical thinking aspie like myself, to make the world a better place, not only for autistic people, but also for regular, everyday neurotypical people or non-autistic people, because we all live on the same planet. And this video, I'm going to talk about why I feel like I'm not even living on my planet, why I feel like I'm an autistic alien. I would really appreciate it if you would take the time to rate the video once you've watched it, thumbs up or thumbs down, and also subscribe to my channel so you'll never miss another episode by subscribing and clicking that notifications bell. Plus, you can find me on the socials. You can like my Facebook page, check out my Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, and get on the socials and connect with me any way you can. You know, the idea of living in a world that's not built for you can make you feel really alien. The idea of interacting with people and existing in a world that is not compatible with your brain and the way you work and see and experience the world. It can really have a detrimental effect on you. The idea that this world isn't really for you. I'm not trying to make this sound self-indulgent, but that's really how it feels for me personally as an autistic person. I can't speak on behalf of everyone. So I'm living in a neurotypical world. Well, that's a fact. This is a world built for non-autistic people, and this is a world that goes about its business for the most part in a non-autistic way. So I feel like an alien. I feel like I've landed on another planet, a planet that I'm not from, not made to live on, and I've just got to do my best to navigate that planet. Here's an example for you. Okay, so I'm autistic. If I just be genuinely me, just be me in all my glory, there will be portions of time where you'll love hanging around me and you'll love the conversation and you'll love the quirkiness and the randomness and you'll really enjoy it. And there'll be times when I'm myself, I'm autistic. Things that you might not like, things that you might feel uncomfortable with. Now, when it gets to the situation where someone is actually autistic in a way that a neurotypical person doesn't take in a positive fashion, so something that makes them feel uncomfortable or something that makes them feel potentially scared or awkward or whatever, as a rule, the majority of people will back away. So you wake up and pretty much until you get home, you're acting, you're playing a character, a role, and the role is to please neurotypical people. Again, you know, I don't want this to sound overdramatic, but think about it logically. If I was myself all the time, the majority of people would outright reject me, and we'll talk about rejection soon. So this is a world that is in no way set up for autistic people. The proof is we had to put in rules and regulations and laws to cater for people with disabilities. So as an autistic person, my brain is wired differently. I don't have a neurotypical brain. It is impossible for me to see the world and interact with the world the same as a neurotypical person because my brain is different. A simple way of looking at it, and it's very generalized, it's a Mac and a PC's operating systems trying to work together. Well, they don't. They're incompatible. So there's no use trying to make them work together. There's a Mac, there's a PC. Clearly, autistic people are the max. I mean, so as a result, really all I'm doing is altering my brain and the way I use it and the way I interact and the way I be myself to please people with a neurotypical brain. When I don't please people, there's pushback. I can't be pushed back and pushed away from everyone. And the only reason why that ever happens is because I be myself. I allow myself to just be my genuine self. Can you imagine never being able to be your genuine self? Try it every day for your entire life to see how it goes. Try it every day for a week and see how it goes. As an autistic person, I have absolutely experienced that connections are really tricky. I struggle to make connections. I struggle to find the right connections. I think everyone agrees that without connections, you feel alone, you feel isolated, you don't feel like you're part of something. So when you struggle with connections on a day-to-day basis, it makes you literally feel like you've come from an alien planet and you just don't get it. We can go back to the analogy of an operating system. The PC and the Mac operating systems being incompatible. When a PC and a Mac tries to interact, this is just an example, but you can see that it doesn't work, right? The connections don't work. They're not wired the same way. Okay, so neurotypical person, autistic person, brains wired differently. They're not wired the same way, so they're not compatible from the get-go. If a neurotypical person is being themselves, an autistic person is being themselves, there's every chance, because they're wired differently, they won't connect. Or they won't connect properly. They won't create a lasting, workable connection. Connections are a major issue. I struggle with connections. And it's not because I don't want to make connections. It's because here's what happens with connections. Okay, for starters, for me to connect with people, because of my differences, whether it's social anxiety or as an autistic person, my issues with certain social interaction skills, it's hard for me to meet people in the first place, let alone connect with them. And in addition to that, when you talk to someone as an autistic person, from my point of view, it's just a fact. If you want to get me talking, you'll ask me about things that I'm interested in, my interests. Now that sounds selfish, but it's not for an autistic person. It's not even a controllable thing. I'm able to talk forever until you are asleep on my interests. But if you want to talk to me about random stuff, small talk stuff, weather, traffic, blah, 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 weekend stuff, blah, blah, blah. Well, I mean, for starters, I just utterly resent that. What a ridiculous waste of time. I don't care. I mean, we can both see the weather. Building connections, it starts slow, right? Small talk, reciprocal conversation. For myself as an autistic person, I'm not so interested in reciprocal conversation. In fact, in my mind, I have a rule where if someone asks me questions, I ask the same question back. Now that's not a natural thing. I've built that in to my masking, to my way of pleasing neurotypical people. So it's really important to understand that I'm doing everything I can to build connections, but I'm doing it in a way that isn't me. Now when you get connections and they actually work, eventually the struggle with connections will grow because you inevitably will be yourself. You will make people awkward, upset, feel weird. And of course those connections will break down. And when connections break down, you go back to the same feeling you've always had, which is you can't make connections, you can't keep connections, you feel like you live on a different planet, you feel like you're alone, you're isolated, no one understands you, or no one cares to understand you. They'll understand you, but to a certain limit. Relationships are mysteries to me. As an autistic person, relationships, finding relationships. Now, I mean friendships and intimate relationships, finding people, meeting people, maintaining relationships, maintaining friendships. These are things that are super tricky for me as an autistic person. It's not that I don't want them, it's just that as a person who's able to mask or provide a neurotypical experience to neurotypical people, friendships go just fine. But when you're allowed to let down the guard and actually be yourself, and you do things as an autistic person that a neurotypical person might not want, expect, might feel uncomfortable or a bit weird or awkward, well then friendships and relationships just fall away. As an autistic person and with my social anxiety and anxieties, I like to be pretty private and pretty personal. As a result of the way I am, which is very, very closed or private or personal about those types of things, it can be a contradiction because I can info dump on some people or over personalize stories or conversations to people. I can give people too much information or just dump information on them. On the reverse side, I've been called by people who I liked like a snake in the grass, because they see me as someone who doesn't ever give anything away, so therefore must be up to something. I'm not a snake in the grass. So that really impacts your ability to have relationships, not only intimate relationships, but just friendships. You can make friends, and I've certainly made friends throughout my journey, throughout my life, personally, and through my profession in radio. Some really great friends, but I don't really hear from any of them anymore. And it's not because I don't want to, it's because this inability to be able to remain connected to people and to remain pleasing enough for them. No one's gonna wanna keep staying friends with someone or connecting with someone if they make them feel awkward or uncomfortable, or they say stuff that they don't like. As an autistic person, this is my personal experience, that people can say I'm quite brutal, I'm quite honest or truthful or brutal in a way they don't accept. Now for me, my brain doesn't understand, why would you punish me for being honest? Why would you punish me for being open and truthful to you? Why would you punish me for giving you the truth? Brutal or not, I don't believe in brutal truth. There's the truth and there's a lie. The truth is only brutal because you know it's true. The truth is only brutal because you know it's true. So I can give the truth to people. I can tell people my opinion. And it is in a way for them that you wouldn't expect a friend to talk to you. But for me, if you're a real friend, I want the best for you. So I'm going to tell you the truth, whether it's good or bad. Rejection is a big part of my life as an autistic person. Rejection is everywhere. It's daily. In fact, it can be minute by minute. The idea of being able to keep people at ease and then being autistic when it happens and it's probably uncontrollable, there's a rejection there. There's a, no, this is not going to work for me. I reject that behavior. And I don't really care if you're autistic. I reject that feeling of awkwardness or feeling a bit scared. I reject that. You being you is not acceptable to me. I reject you being you. I reject you. And rejection really comes in every facet of life. Because if I don't feel, and I don't, like I fit in, like I belong, like I'm accepted, like I'm understood, then how can I ever go through life not feeling like I'm constantly being rejected? You have a friendship, you become yourself, autistically genuine, doesn't make them feel comfortable or awkward or whatever, and they reject you as a friend. You can be rejected by relationships. You're in a relationship and you have a moment where you're actually autistic and they don't like that. You're rejected as a relationship, right? It ends, it breaks down, that's rejection. The amount of times I've had interviews and they've never been called back, or I've had interviews where it seems like they've gone well, but then they might have talked to people from previous jobs and then that's it, I'm out, I'm done, I'm rejected. And it's not because I'm one of those horrible employees. I'm autistic. I'm going to do things in the workplaces as an autistic person that are not going to go down well with neurotypical people. It's not controllable. And I've got a video on autism in the workplace and why it doesn't mix, so check out my video. And it's a big conversation, rejection, because when you think about it, it's every facet of life. And if you are rejected by every facet of life, you're going to feel like an alien, right? You're not going to feel like you're part of the world you live in. Masking. What a big part of an autistic person's life, because really, as an autistic person, when we mask, what that really means is we are putting on a facade, or we're doing the best we can to keep you feeling comfortable, to be neurotypical in a way that you will still feel comfortable to be around us. We won't put you off or freak you out. You know, masking is key, because without masking, just being ourselves, imagine that, getting to be yourself every day. Imagine being able to be yourself in a workplace. Oh my goodness, that would be amazing. So living your life on a day-to-day basis, not being able to be your true self, can really have an impact on you that makes you feel like you are just not from this planet. What's really interesting about getting an autism diagnosis later in life, so for me, I was an adult rather than a child, where you're kind of brought up knowing you're autistic. Not knowing you're autistic, but clearly you were born autistic. I want it to be really clear. You are born autistic. You cannot catch or acquire autism. Autism doesn't wear down. It doesn't weaken. It doesn't lessen. It doesn't go away. It can't be cured. It can't be eradicated. I'm so sick of hearing people talk about autism like it can be cured or it can be fixed. Why? Why would you want to cure it or fix this? Why would you want to cure or fix this? Anyway, masking, in my opinion, the best way to describe masking is it's an autistic way of acting. Okay, so what I'm doing when I mask is I am repressing, I am pushing down my natural instincts to be my genuine self, my genuine autistic self. And masking is really just playing a role or a character. It's acting, holding down me and allowing you to feel comfortable as a neurotypical person, a non-autistic person, by me being as much like you as I can. So I learned to mask by observing people and by using my own, creativity on what would make people like me. Now, for me, it was humor. I've always been able to make people laugh. That's my thing. I can make people laugh. I can interact with people in a way where that they find it engaging and intriguing. So people would call me things like funny or cheeky, these types of things, right? And people like that. And I realized that. A lot of times I wasn't trying to be funny, right? But it's funny to people. So a lot of times I can't even take credit for the things I say that make people laugh, but they do make people laugh. I realize if I be myself, 9 out of 10 times, I will be rejected. People will not want to be around me. So masking is critical for neurotypical people to feel comfortable and critical for autistic people to feel like they're part of the world they live in. If I don't mask, by the way, why should I? You don't mask for me. If I don't mask, I will not feel part of this world and I feel like an alien. I'm doing everything I can to make neurotypical people feel comfortable. For example, they start small talk. I ask the questions back. I don't have any questions in my head popping up that I can ask you in small talk. So all I know to do is repeat the question. How was your day? Not bad. How was your day? I don't have any questions ready because I don't care. I don't get small talk. It's ridiculous. Why waste your life with small talk? For me, the only talk you should ever have is deep, genuine, interesting, holistic conversations. That's life. That's living. Living is not talking about weather, traffic, and weekends. Seriously. Masking is unbelievably draining. It saps all the energy out of you. After a period of time of having to mask, having to repress your autism, not be an autistic person, you get extremely tired, extremely drained. You are completely lacking of any energy, which can lead to meltdowns. The idea, the myth that meltdowns are something that only autistic kids experience is ridiculous. It might cause me to shut down, it might cause me to act out, but one way or another, a meltdown is not something I have any control over, yet when it happens, people don't accept it and they really push back from it and they really blame me. As an autistic person, it's my fault I allowed that to happen. And it isn't, as a rule. Once you reach that threshold, there's nothing you can do about it. And when you're in those situations, you really feel horrible about it because the impact it has on people, you don't want that impact, but also the impact it has on you, people don't care about. So you feel like you're just some sort of alien who's come down and has done something that's normal on your planet, but in this planet, you can't do it. It's completely forbidden. So when you have a meltdown as an adult, it's not good because automatically people think, what is wrong with you? A meltdown manifests in many ways. They can manifest in outward ways and they can also manifest in a shutdown way. When someone goes completely quiet, completely freezes, that's a shutdown and it's like a meltdown. And a meltdown can be aggressive or violent or loud or just really uncontrollable. Well, it is number one, it is. It isn't a choice. It's no choice. It's no control. So melting down as an autistic adult, which I do. I have autistic meltdowns, trust me, because life can be really tiring and sometimes you just can't do it anymore and it just happens. People just don't dig it. They don't want a piece of it. They want out. This is not someone I want to hang out with. How could I not feel like an alien if I do things I can't control as part of being an autistic person and you outright reject me, you outright push away? To be accepted, to be understood is a big goal for me to give that to not only myself, but autistic people. I don't want people to be aware of autism. I want people to understand and accept autistic people. And that means an unconditional acceptance. An acceptance that says, yep, sometimes you'll be just like me and other times you'll be really different. And that might make me feel a bit weird, a bit uncomfortable, whatever. But I still accept that. There are no conditions to my acceptance. So for me, I'm already starting from a bad point. I'm starting where people really, they can say they're unconditional, they're not. They have limits. But then I'm pushing through the threshold of what they'll accept, which makes it even harder to ever have someone who will truly accept you. Hey, again, thank you so much for watching this video. I really do appreciate it. If you did like it, or maybe it wasn't your cup of tea, please rate it for me, thumbs up or thumbs down. I'd love if you would subscribe to my channel. So please hit that subscribe button and don't forget to click on the notifications bell so you never miss another video release. Please check out all the videos that I've made. There's plenty of them there. I'd love you to see them. And if you like them, please share them with your family and friends so we can reach more people. Reach out on my socials. Come and say hey, like the Orion Kelly page on Facebook. You can find me on Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and my website. If you want to message me and say hey and check out all the other things that I do on my website, orionkelly.com.au. Together, you and I can make the world a better place for autistic people and improve the lives of neurotypical people, non-autistic people. We live on the same planet, even though I'm an alien from a different planet. We have to all get on. So that's what we're all about here, making the world a better place for not only autistic people, but for neurotypical people. So I really do appreciate your time checking out this video. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you next time.